What is going on, everyone? Parsnip here, and today I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some quick tips and tricks on how to improve your house. So I get a lot of questions in the YouTube comment section or in Steam or even on the Terraria forums as to how can I stop making squares or how can I improve this build, and that's what I plan to show you guys today with some simple tips and tricks. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off making this basic square house with wood. It's pretty basic. It's the house most people will make when they start. It could be any size, not any shape, as I'm trying to show you guys how to get out of squares or boxes. But yeah, so after you have your initial hut, your initial safe zone for the first night, I wanted to go ahead and start by adding a window, I guess. So, something that a lot of people don't know is that the walls make a huge difference on your build. It changes how it looks by a lot. So here I'm gonna go ahead and make a pretty small and simple window, nothing out of the ordinary. So Windows brings a lot of life to your house, I guess you could call it, and you can make it big, small, whatever shape you want it, pretty much. So here I'm gonna go ahead and make a pretty small and simple window using wooden beams, glass walls, and platforms. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paint the side of the wooden beams. Now this is to make it look like curtains. And you could put pretty much any color you want: blue, red, yellow, deep colors, normal colors, and so on. I'm also going to go ahead and put a little decoration on the window, which is a clay pot, which is going to bring a flower and again more life to the house. Now don't forget that little details improve your house by a lot, and I mean a lot. So that's pretty much the first step on improving your house. It's go ahead and add some windows. It's a great way to start. Alright guys, now much like the windows, I wanted to try out putting some diversity on the walls. Now a lot of people are afraid to mix and match, and there's really no problem with that. If the wall you put or whatever you try looks bad, you could just go ahead and remove it. So here I'm gonna go ahead and put a different wall at the upper part of the house just to make it look a bit different. Another way to improve your house is to make it look a little bit more safe or even comfy, if you want to call it that. And how am I going to do this? I'm going to put another layer of blocks below the first layer of the floor. So now this could be done in plenty of different ways. You can make it look more cozy or safe by making the walls thicker, by putting just 2 blocks instead of one, or even more. It really depends on the person. Here I'm only going to go ahead and make the bottom part a bit thicker. So another thing that a lot of people don't do is to change the size of the rooms they're making. So you could have a huge box with the exact same size walls in the exact same place, but I find that pretty boring. Here I'm gonna go ahead and put a smaller little room, which is gonna be a crafting room in a bit, at the upper part of this first starting house. Now, the same way that you did the bottom one, it's just going to be a simple square, and that's pretty much all you need. As long as it's a different size, I made it in the center. You could go ahead and make it just to one side or to the other side and make a balcony or whatever you want. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and put roofs. Now roofs will change your house by a lot. I mean, there's so many varieties of roofs. If you guys seen my speed builds, or if you've seen some buildings on the Terraria forums and whatnot, you'll notice that roofs brings life to the buildings. You can make it look like a wizard tower, you can make it look like an Asian house, you can make it look like a simple Western house. You can make the roof look like a castle, and I think the roof is very important, and a lot of people forget to work on that. So here I'm gonna go for a very simple Asian stylish roof, I guess you could call it. And I know this house is pretty small, but I just wanted to go ahead and give a quick example at the start, at the beginning zone, for you guys to go ahead and change your house a bit. Okay guys, another simple way to improve your house will be by adding furniture, crafting stations, decorations. Now this brings a lot of life to the house with the walls, the windows, the roof, the lightings. By putting decorations and even crafting stations or just junk around the house will make it look a lot better. And I really emphasize on the fact that you should go ahead and put stuff, even if it's completely useless, like these crates that I'm putting right now. So a lot of things you could put are picture frames, plants, books, bookshelves, armors, let's see, weapons, anything you really want. And by putting decorations, you can make a theme to the house. You can make a little blacksmith station with an anvil, a workbench, and then on the top you could put those workbench frames, the weapons frames, and all of that. And it's stuff like that that really helps improve your house. So going forward, I'm gonna go ahead and start making a fence. So putting stuff not just inside your house but outside your house is also a great way to make it look more homely, more friendly, you could call it. So here I'm gonna go ahead and put some simple wooden fences. Now this idea by no means isn't mine. There's a lot of this on the forums on YouTube, and a lot of people go into detail on how you could improve this and make it better. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and use normal wooden fences, some grass blocks, walls. You could buy these from the Dryad, and some pumpkins to make it look like fruits. Now, a simple way to improve that is just by coloring the pumpkins to make them look like apples or lemons or whatever you want. Now, besides the fence, I'm gonna go ahead and make a little, it's not a lantern, it's like a lamp post or whatever these are called. I completely forgot, sorry about that. But by putting some wooden beams and some stone bricks on the top and some lanterns below the stone bricks, it gives a nice friendly touch as well as lighting for you guys to see. Now you could go ahead and make this bigger, cooler, however you want, but again, I'm trying to keep it a bit simple. Now to the next side, instead of a fence, I'm gonna go ahead and make a bridge. Now you're probably wondering why I'm going to the trouble of making this, but I think it's the little details that count. I mean, even if you don't have a natural small pool or a lake there, you could go ahead and just dig a hole and put some water there, just to, I don't know, make it look a bit more alive, I guess, colorful and all that. So what I'm gonna do to the bridge is I'm gonna put two stone bricks to serve as like the column. Um, to hold the actual bridge in place. I mean, you could just make it out of wood, but I like to keep it a little bit different from the actual bridge itself. So going forward, I try some things like using the hammer on some blocks to make it look smoother, but I end up not liking that too much. So I just leave it squared out and put stairs on it and hammer the stairs so you could just walk across it really smoothly. On top of the bridge, I'm going to do the same thing as the fence and just put some small fences over the bridge. Now, you could put at the middle of the bridge, at the end of the bridge, or at the start of the bridge, another one of those lampposts that I had at the fence side. So this is pretty much it for the simple starting house, I guess you could call it. Now I'm going to go ahead and make another example, except bigger this time, just so you guys could have even a better idea of what you could do. And if you don't want to have like a village, you could just make a super big house. Now on the example, I'm gonna go ahead and make it 3 stories tall. Nothing out of this world, but it's gonna be the same way as the starting house. So I go ahead and make the initial square block, the safe zone that everyone makes at the start, just for your NPC to be safe, for you to be safe during the night. Now, instead of just making one, I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of these right next to each other. By doing so, it's just going to make my house a little bit bigger. You could go ahead and make it any size you want or however big you want. You could even go ahead and make more than 2 rooms if you want a really big house. This is going to be a decent sized house for the starting zone. I guess here you could put a couple of NPCs and a crafting station and even some chests if you want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make the top floor or the second floor a little bit smaller than the first floor. And I'm going to do the same thing with the third floor. It's going to be a bit smaller than the second floor. Now, you could go ahead and make it the same size. But like I said at the initial start of the video, or the initial house, actually, you should never keep it the exact same size or the exact same way. I think it should vary a bit. That's my opinion. If you guys want to make it a really symmetrical, you could go ahead. And if you just want a box, by all means, you should do that. But the point of this video is to help you guys improve your house. So by making the other sizes a bit smaller, it's gonna look more realistic, you know. On a building, you don't have the top part much bigger than the bottom part. It's always the other way around. The bottom is bigger, sturdier, and by that you could go ahead, instead of making wood at the bottom part, you can make it stone, just to give that effect that the bottom part is indeed sturdier, not just bigger. But on this case, I went ahead and just made it all of wood, just to keep it simple. I'm gonna go ahead and put some doors at the top to make it more accessible to the players. One door at the bottom would work. I recommend always having two doors for both sides of the house. You could also make it a little bit higher so that zombies and stuff can't get in your house. But that's pretty much it for the frame of the house. Okay, so afterwards I'm gonna go ahead and just fill out the house with normal wood walls. I think you should start out simple. You could improve this a lot later on, but wood walls just work out really well at the start. Now, of course, you want to change this later on. Again, give some life to the house, make it a bit different, unique. So what I'm gonna do here, it could be done in many different ways with many different themes. I'm gonna go ahead and make more windows. Now this windows is gonna be a bit different from the other house. Not only is it gonna be bigger, it's gonna be in between two wooden beams, each window. Now right now, I decided to go with this size, but I ended up changing it later to make it a bit bigger. But after I put the wooden beams, I'm gonna go ahead and change the inside walls from wood to stone, again to give it a different look. Now you could go ahead and make this different. You can make it with any block you want. I mean, it's all about trial and error. You guys really shouldn't be afraid of testing things out. I mean, when I make my speed builds, I change a lot of builds. I plan ahead and all of that. I mean, I could waste countless hours on something because I don't like it. If you ever watched my world tour video, I had a fire temple that I did not like, so I went ahead and made a completely new one and wasted a ton of time doing so. However, I think it's worth it if it looks a lot better than the first one, or if you just hate the way the first one looks. Now you could go ahead and demolish everything or just make another one. It all depends on your personal taste, on what you want to do, and how lazy you actually are. So after making the columns, I go ahead and make another one following the first floor beams. I go ahead and I don't put a window on this one. You could go ahead and put a window. You could go ahead, instead of putting a window, you could put fences. Now fences make it look more Asian themed. You could go ahead as well and see another Asian house or Asian themed build, even the ones on my channel, and you'll see that normally the windows are made of, instead of glass, they're made of fences, and they're a lot thinner. So after making the initial walls, I'm gonna go ahead and start building the roof. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get back into the walls and put some more details and stuff, but for now it's pretty good. And if you want to leave it like that, that's perfectly okay. If you don't like it, you could go ahead and make something else. Again, it really depends on your taste and personal preference. So actually, before starting the roof, I'm gonna go and make this little outdoor part, like a balcony, I guess. I figured it was just too normal looking, the house, I guess. It reminded me a lot of the other ones still, so I wanted to make it a bit different. And again, like the other build, I'm gonna make it a little bit more cozy or comfortable, or even give it that safe look by putting another layer of floor and making it stone. So this time I wanted to keep it similar to the other house, but different at the same time. So I go ahead and exaggerate a bit on the roof this time. But again, you could keep it the exact same way as the other roof. If you like that roof, you could make it another way if you dislike the one that I'm gonna make. Or you could go ahead and copy this one if you ended up liking what you see. I'm gonna go ahead later on in the video, I'm gonna go ahead and put a lot of different roof designs so you guys could go ahead and look, some simple ones, more complex ones, just so you guys have an idea of what you could do and how you could do it. Now, roofs could make or break your house. I mean, you could have really big roofs that actually turn into another room, which is not the case of this one, even though you could technically do that. You could have really small roofs like on the initial house. You could have an in-between roof, which would be this one. You could have wizard roofs, castles. It's what really brings out the house. So here I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to make an Asian house, I guess. I just go ahead and make it, and I like the first attempt that I do at it. If you guys don't like it, you could try a different attempt. You can make it taller, smaller, and whatnot. Now, like a lot of Asian houses, they have those edges on the roof. I'm not quite sure what they are called, but here I decided to make it look like this. And I figured it looked pretty good for a first attempt. So after making the roof a bit thicker, I noticed that I could make a window, a circled window here. And that's exactly what I do. I go ahead and finish off the circle. I put a wooden cross in the middle so it looks like it has some sort of protection so creatures and stuff can't go inside. And I don't completely fill it out of stone. Now you guys could go ahead and just fill it out of stone if you want to. I decided not to. I put stone walls at the background. You could go ahead here and put cobwebs in that location, chests, anything you really want to, even a candle just to give it more light. And after the initial roof that's on the top, I guess you could call it the main roof, I go ahead and start working on the side roofs. So the side roofs, I try to keep it matching the top roofs. I'm going to change it a bit because I do end up making it a bit tall. But it should follow pretty much the same schematics as the first roof. Now again, if you make it simple, just make the bottom roof simple as well, and so on. So now it's actually now the part that I make the floor. And again, the floor will give it that safer look, that comfier, that warmer feeling of safety that you'll have by doing so. After doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and change the walls again. Now here you could go ahead and leave it exactly as it already is, or however you made yours, or you could go ahead and add. I like to add because I don't know, I get really bored of walls if they look too simple nowadays. For the start, you could make it simpler. You could keep the stone off and just make the top a different color wood. And of course, if you wanted different colors, just go ahead and get a paint roller and some paint and paint it all. I'm pretty satisfied with the way it looks, and I decided to keep it exactly like that. So after the walls, again, decoration is key. Decoration is gonna make your rooms. It's gonna break your rooms. I mean, the top room here, I ended up not liking too much. The theme was gonna be a library, and it does look like a library. I myself just didn't like it too much. Now, instead of a library, you can make this your crafting station, your chest station. You can make the bottom rooms NPC rooms. It really depends on you. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start just showing you different roofs, different fences, different decorations that you could do to make your house look a little bit different. I hope you guys enjoyed the initial the part of the video where you change your wooden box into something a little bit different and more unique. In this case, it'll be an Asian style house. You can make it into a castle or anything you really want. Now, if you guys have trouble with roofs and stuff like that, I really recommend just going for the castle look. Castles are pretty straightforward. I'll give an example of this. I guess I could put it right here. But the castle roofs look just as good, even better. You could put towers, you could not put towers. But yeah, it's pretty simple, straightforward. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some music at the end, showing you guys different things. Maybe I'll comment on something, or maybe not.